Hi everyone. Um, I just wanted to do this impulse video. I haven't done really a video yet since we moved here at the end of February. It's just a, excuse me, it's just a stream of consciousness, just talking video that I just do pre-planned videos that are just creative or something like that. And I had to reset my computer to open Power Director, or I even clicked on Movie Maker and that wasn't working. So I had to reset the computer and it gave me a blue screen of death or whatever. Anyway, I was just thinking about this Oreo contest and how since about, what's it been? Almost a year ago. I'm such a procrastinator. Um, I have wanted to enter in those video submission contests that YouTube runs and other companies run, where you're supposed to make a commercial with your own out-of-pocket expenses and everything, and then enter in a contest. You might win, and you might win cash, and they'll use your commercial and all that crap. And those are some good contests to get into if people are really into those kind of videos. And ever since I was a teenager, I've wanted to go into filmmaking. I mean, I think I've talked about this with people. I mean, can you imagine if you had YouTube when you were a teenager? I know there's teenagers on YouTube now, but people my age and people a little older that use YouTube on a regular basis, can you imagine having a camera and a computer while you were a teenager and having YouTube then? It would have been totally different mindset, but I would have put up a video every day, it seems. I was really into the thought of the behind the scenes, like being a director of a movie, being a director of a TV show or something like that. Acting and then making people act in your video and editing all together and everything. I know that James Angry Nintendo Nerd, he posted a video, it's kind of like a documentary about his filmmaking career when he was a teenager, that he used the old bulky camera that he basically stole from his parents. And he learned how to splice film, and he learned how to use, like, he got the handy cam and he learned how to use that. And it's so interesting because it reminded me of me when I was a kid, learning stuff myself and then using it to its hilt. So anyway, I've always wanted to do those kind of videos because of those contests. The first person that I noticed entered one of those contests is Mugglesam. She put a wonderful video, and I'll put the link in my description. She did a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful video of her daughter Sophia. It's titled Beauty Isn't as Skinny as You Can Be, and it was entering in a contest. That was pretty much, I'd probably seen it before, but the banners and everything, but I ignored them. That was the first time I really thought, hey, you can enter a contest on YouTube. When I was first learning how to do really good photo editing, and there's one thing that I want to do. I want to do tutorials on PaintDrop Pro. On PaintDrop Pro, I think I have PaintDrop Pro X. I don't have the new one, but I have, well, there's a new one. The one there's like two versions more advanced than I have. But anyway, I want to do a tutorial, and what I want to do is I want to record myself editing some pictures and then speeding it up and putting it to music. I think that would be cool. But I watch biographies sometimes, like any biography, and I was just watching that in Intimate Portrait, and how they talk about how actors get their careers built. And when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a cartoonist. I probably already told this story before. But when I was a kid, I wanted to be a cartoonist. I drew without doing my schoolwork. I wasn't interested in school because I was teased all the time. And I didn't want to go to school because I was teased. Therefore, I didn't do my schoolwork. And I didn't really, at the beginning of the year, I applied myself, and then I started to dwindle. And then maybe at the end, I tried to apply myself some because I was getting yelled at for getting bad grades. But I never really... So anyway, I drew a lot. I took out a piece of notebook paper and I would doodle. And one thing that I know I did in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade is I would take a blank piece of paper, and in there's a Bugs Bunny cartoon, which at the end you find out it was Elmer Fudd, but you would see this hand with a pencil and with like a paintbrush, and you would see Bugs Bunny. He would paint back Bugs Bunny, like swish, 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 and it was Bugs Bunny. And then he didn't have a tail, and then he would say, "Hey, what's the big deal? I need a tail." And then the hand would go swish, and then it would be a horse's tail. And then he would say, "Hey, why are you giving me a horse's tail? I'm a rabbit. Give me a rabbit's tail." And then he would erase it, and then draw a bunny tail, and then he would say, "Oh, okay, that's more like it." And then that was basically the beginning of the cartoon. Well, I did something like that on a piece of paper. I would start drawing the guy, like his head and his neck, and then he would say, "Hey, what's the big..." In my head, he would say, "Hey, what's the big deal? I need a body too." And that I would say, "Well, what kind of clothes do you want to wear?" And then he would say, "Well, whatever clothes you want to give me, I need a body." And then this is a conversation I would have with my character on this piece of paper. And eventually I would draw his body, and then I would draw, "Oh, well, I need a house to live in. I need something to do." He would say, "Oh, I need something to do. I'm bored." So I would draw a pool. I probably have a couple of those doodles at my grandparents' house that I did that you guys would love to see when I was a little kid, how I drew. I knew, if you want to imagine what my old drawings were, I drew very long legs, very narrow long legs, and then I'd draw these long arms and these big bulky hands. The one thing that I really suffered through in drawing was hands. For some reason I didn't quite master that quickly. So anyway, this video totally turned out to be something totally different than what I wanted to talk about. Just basically anything except ice sculptures or anything like that. I've always, well, at least for the last few years, I've always been fascinated with those really fancy creative cakes that are shaped as race cars that have fondant all over it, and I want to take a class sometime and do those really fancy cakes that are shaped as stuff. I guess that's what you'd call it. Because I think that I would get into that. And I've always been curious if I would be good at a ad agency, writing jingles and commercials and things like that. I mean, around here, my chores are, I do a lot of chores. Actually, I want to go to Walmart. It's 1 o'clock in the freaking morning, and I need to go to Walmart. So anyway, it's just, I'm a very lazy person. I'll tell this straight out. And having chores is hard for me. So, anyway, I have 20 more seconds, you guys. I'll see you later.